let's jump into it. So I'm going to come with a lot of data here, but you'll have plenty of time at the end to ask me questions. So I'm not going to allow questions while I'm talking, just so that we can get through it. It might take 30 minutes or something along those lines to get through it. I'll try to go fast, but anyways, let's jump into it. So, all right, so the purpose of this Zoom is going to be to share the truth and the facts with sources. I'm going to source everything that I'm saying. I'm going to show facts because this is the number one thing that people want. So I'm going to expose the lies that everyone's been told. So AMSYS was fraudulent. And what fraudulent means is that it's lies to obtain money. So I want you to take notes, especially if you disagree with me. If I say something that you disagree with, I will pull up evidence of anything that I say. There are only a few exceptions where I have a source who I can't out, or multiple sources who I can't say things about. So that would be the only time that I can't. But I promise that later on I would give that source and those sources and share that information. But I can't do it now because I think there's an active investigation going on. So I'm going to try to get through this in 30 minutes. So this is a good question. Would Ed or Scott or any of the promoters do what I'm doing to allow questions from anyone? Would they show evidence of anything? They always ask me, they always say Ponzi Patrol has no facts, but here we are sharing facts. So this is another reason for this Zoom, and that's to share options for people, especially if you've been scammed. So these are your options. You can do nothing and hope it comes back. You can file a lawsuit against Ed and promoters who lied to you. And you can report it to the SEC to get justice and maybe some of your money back. So here's the hot topic right now. It's the passkey. The passkey's back, or the passkey's up and running, right? So the passkey is meaningless, right? Until everyone gets their money back, then it doesn't matter. You know, why would it matter if there's passkey? Let me just check and make sure everything is going okay. Yeah, I think we're fine here. So the leaders are silencing you. This should be, you know, discouraging to a lot of people, especially the victims that are kind of realizing that they've been had, they've been scammed. So the leaders are using cult-like tactics to silence people. They're muting their groups, they're shutting them down, and threatening to kick everyone out for negativity. Well, realizing you were scammed isn't negative. Wanting your money back isn't negative. Voicing your opinion isn't negative. And asking hard questions isn't negative. So you can ask me anything. I'm going to share proof. And I mentioned, you know, some sources that I have. But those, you know, anonymous sources that I do have, it's very small parts of what I'm going to be sharing. So yeah, and I welcome any promoter to jump on, and I'll actually let them go first whenever we have questions. I actually want anybody that disagrees with me or the promoters to challenge what I'm saying. Ask me for more proof. Tell me, you know, what you think about what I'm saying. So the truth is complicated. Ed has a lot of made-up stories with zero proof or evidence, and those are easy to remember. The truth is far, far more complex, actually. So what they have as story is what I have as data and truth, and data and truth is boring, so a lot of people don't want to listen to it. What would you need to see? I think this is very important. What would you need to see or hear to accept that CryptoProgram was a scam? What would you need to see or hear to accept that AMSYS was a scam and that, you know, that you've been lied to by these people? What would you need to see? Like, actually think about that part of it, because that's important. If you're going into this saying, you know, Ponzi Patrol is just making stuff up, then, you know, maybe you're not going to get much out of this. Just think like, if I saw this, then I would realize it's a scam. So there's a saying, it's easy to fool someone, but almost impossible to convince someone they've been fooled. So here we are, here I am, trying to convince people that they've been fooled. I guess it's not as much convincing, but just sharing facts and data and hoping that people realize what's happening. You have two things at play here: confirmation bias and sunk cost fallacy. Confirmation bias basically meaning like, you know, anything that you've believed before, now you're only going to look for facts and evidence to confirm your belief. And then you have sunk cost fallacy, which is, you've already stood in the line at the grocery store. There's one open next to you. You're still waiting in this line. You don't really want to go to the open line sometimes because you would lose the time that you had standing in this line, or like gamblers where they've already lost money and then they go gamble some more to try to get back. So the promoters are all telling stories because stories sell, like I mentioned earlier, but I'm sharing facts and documentation. And as Ed Zimbardi himself says, documentation beats conversation. But Ponzi Patrol is an asshole. And that's true. I have to admit, I'm a little bit of an asshole sometimes, but I've been an asshole mainly to the promoters and Ed, and it's for good reason. So, people investing in Ponzi schemes, they lose everything. Their family, their homes, and their lives. In actually the case of AMSYS, someone's already committed suicide. I'm not making this up. Scott Morris put out a voice message about this. He was actually encouraging people to refinance their homes. I can source that at the end if you guys need me to. I didn't put it here, but why would I not be an asshole to people who are convincing others to sign up for a Ponzi scheme? That would make no sense. Like, I should be an asshole to them, I would think. So I've been doxxed. I've had death threats and threatened with lawsuits by Jim Ware, Scott Morris, Ed Zimbardi, and Josh Berman. So I'll show you at least one of those later, but if you have questions, I'll show you. Okay, and here's a message from Scott Morris. Hopefully you guys can hear this.
I appreciate your kind sentiments there, Tracy, but I disagree. I don't think we should be kind and compassionate to him. I think we should tear him to shreds like a bunch of hyenas, pull his limbs off and let him rot in the sun, full of maggots and flies.
So why would I not be an asshole to people like this? Like, it's literally a death threat. Okay, great. You guys can hear it. But it's also at the same time not true. So it's true and not true. I think this is true for most people. Everyone has the capacity to be an asshole, and everyone has, I believe, the capacity to be kind and nice, at least in different circumstances. So I'm really understanding with the victims, and anyone who's reached out to me that's actually a victim, then you'll understand that. I've talked to quite a few people at this point. And I subject myself to all this hate and death threats to warn people about scams. I'm not some sort of hero or something. I'm just saying this is what's happening. I just played you a death threat. Actually, Scott's threatened my family as well, and doxed me, shared my addresses, my phone numbers, everything. So the promoters and people who stick up for them are the people that I'm an asshole to. That's really it. My goal here is to help people understand the truth, and so that they can take the best steps moving forward. So my goal was to warn people initially. I think it worked in some cases. And then also to help people after they've been scammed. So just to define a couple of terms here, just really quick, just, to make it obvious what we're talking about. So a Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent scheme, and it's a fake investment that uses newly invested money to pay old investors. And that fraudulent scheme is basically just coming up with some sort of business story behind, like how it works. You have plenty of Novatech, Quappy. They use AI robots to trade and make money, and they're going to give you all this money. So a lot of times it's just a fake investment. Well, in a Ponzi scheme, this is what it is: fake investment that uses newly invested money to pay old investors, and that's fraud. It's straight up fraud. But the definition of fraud is lying to obtain money. It's a simple definition, but that's basically what it is. Here's a tactic that they use. Whenever I say they, I'm doing the same thing that they do, which is us versus them. And what that is, it's a really strong marketing tactic. So the promoters and Ed, they attack anybody who disagrees and kick them out of the group. They lie about me and my motives, which we'll get into. They make anyone who challenges them an outsider. They say things like this, actually from Scott Morris from earlier today. So Scott's providing a lot of good points here.
We have to be the fair ones, because we're not going to get a fair shot ever, right? And that's why we have to be fully transparent, And we have to be the good guys. And if we're not the good guys, then we're the bad guys, and we're no better than them.
So we're no better than them, meaning them as in he was talking about behind MLM. This is slightly off topic. He said that behind MLM, the people behind it, the people running it are in prison, which I'd love to see some facts and proof on that. They're definitely not. I just talked to them today. So they're not in prison. That us versus them, that's what he just did there. He's basically just saying like they're evil, so we have to be the good guys. So whenever people have a common enemy, they rally together. And the most common thing you'll see this in is politics, Democrat versus Republicans. You know, it's the strongest us versus them that there is, at least in the US, probably in most politics around the world. And the same goes with sports rivals. You know, I was a Duke fan growing up, and, you know, I really liked basketball, played a lot of basketball. So, you know, I hated the Tar Heels, and, you know, I would disregard facts about stats and stuff just because I really cared if my team won. And that's what happens in politics and sports. And here is what's happening here. So try to take the us versus them shades off for the next, probably, hopefully not 30 minutes at this point. Hopefully I can move a little faster. So what's my motivation? Ponzi Patrol's motivation. What is it? The motivation is not money, hate, jealousy, or personal vendetta. I have no reason to hate someone or be jealous. You know, why would I hate something I could join? If I thought this was real and it was going to make a lot of people a lot of money, why wouldn't I just join it? So it makes no sense to hate it or be jealous of it. Money, this costs me money. This Zoom meeting that we're hosting right now, it costs $100 a month for me to have Zoom to be able to do this. My YouTube channel makes probably $20 a month in ad revenue. So there's negative $80 already. There's other stuff like Adobe Premiere that's $20 or $30 a month. Something called PIMIs where you can reverse face search, Pacer. It all adds up to about $200 a month. So I lose probably $180 a month. I've put out 0 affiliate links ever. I've never promoted anything at all in any way. I've had no sponsored videos. I've had one donation one time from someone who's been scammed by Ed on a video premiere that I did that was, I think, $100 or something. But all in all, this probably cost me a few $1,000s at this point, just exposing scams. So, you know, what is my motivation in that case? So the motivation is to warn people about scams. So it does feel good to help other people. It's fun to investigate and uncover this. My skill set kind of lends itself to this, and it's fun for me to uncover that one like fact that's like, wow, this definitely proves that this is a scam. And then justice for victims. You know, I get people calling me and sending me messages and stuff. So yeah, like it's good to be able to help them. What's the promoter's motivation? So like Scott, Ed, Jim, you know, Maria. I mean, it could just Josh Berman. What's their motivation? So their motivation is to make money from referrals. I mean, so they're motivated by potentially a lot of money that, you know, is stolen in Ponzi schemes. That's what happens. They want to stay on Ed's good side. So right now, the way that everybody's acting, they want to stay on Ed's good side so they can get on his next scam, maybe. So Scott Morris, for example, his stable trading is using the brokerage Mugen markets. And Ed, I'm going to show you later, is very involved with Mugen markets. He's actually the controller or owner or part owner of Mugen markets. So he has to stay on Ed's good side, because if he throws Ed under the bus, then now he no longer would have access to Mugen markets to run a scam. So Scott's already moving over to something called Blue Star. We'll get into that later. So also, they don't want the victims to sue them. If they find out that it's actually a scam, then the victims could actually sue the promoters, right? And this is something we'll talk about later too. So they also don't want them to promote them to the authorities. So they keep saying, oh, it's real, we should trust Ed. You know, they just kick the can down the road. They want everything to seem like it's going to be okay, and that you should take responsibility for your actions. You shouldn't hold them accountable. So that's their motivation. So they claim to help people. You heard that in the debate that I had with Ed, but they promote scam after scam for affiliate commissions. You know, it's just one rug pull after the next. Think about it. What have they all been involved in that's lasted? Nothing. About 10% of people make money in Ponzi schemes. It's usually the owners, promoters, and people who get in early and then they get out fast. So that's not helping people. How's it helping people? 90% of people lose money. Someone committed suicide. What else do you need? Like, people are losing their homes. I've talked to people that are on the call with me crying, saying they might have to file bankruptcy. Like, this is not actually multiple people. It's just not just one person. So how is that helping people? I'd love to hear that one. So here's some attempts to discredit me. We're going to get into the facts soon. I'm just prefacing all of this with, where this is coming from, right? So Scott Morris claims Ponzi Patrol has right-way thinking and can't be wrong. Well, yeah. So my girlfriend would agree. She would definitely agree with that. I am right about CryptoProgram, not because I'm just always right, but it's because of the facts and the data. So a duck's a duck, no matter what someone calls it or what stories they tell about it. The debate with Ed, he just kept trying to spin everything that I was saying and interrupt me about everything and say, it's not an investment, it's a loan. And I said, do you know what a cat is? And, everyone knows what a cat is. You look at a cat, you're like, that's a cat. So you can't just tell a story to change the truth. Scott Morris and Jim Ware claim that I'm a coward. Well, it's funny, they both declined to be here. I've offered them to debate me or go live, not to yell at them and call them names, despite what they'll tell you, but just to show the facts and the data and have them try to answer to it, because they can't. That's why they won't show up. So the definition of a coward is basically someone who refuses to show up to a challenge or, something that's hard. And, I'd like to see their facts and data on that one for me, because I'm inviting them to show up. Ponzi Pro is a small YouTube channel. I don't care about that. I'm just here to warn people. I think the crypto program videos have like 30, I just counted today, 33,000 views. The goal is to help people avoid being scammed. It doesn't matter about, like having 100,000 subscribers or making money from this. I mean, that would be cool because it would allow me to do more interesting things, but I don't care about that. So Ponzi Patrol is a fraud. Scott Moore said I'm a fraud multiple times. Well, how? I don't make any money. So if fraud is like lying to obtain money or to obtain something, I haven't lied about anything here, and I'm going to show you all the facts and data. What do I gain from lying about being a fraud? Like, where's the proof? Like, in what fraud? Like, what does that even mean? They just say things without, I don't understand it. But, all right, back to this point. What would it take for you to change your mind or realize that you've been scammed? What would it take? So there's no payments in 7 months. Make sure everything's good. All right. Yeah, it looks like we're still good. No payments in 7 months. Proof that Ed started this with his own wallet. Proof that crypto was sent to an illegal offshore brokerage called Mugen Markets, which Ed owns and controls, not out into fiat for ad spend. Would proof that he owns or controls the offshore brokerage help? What about proof that Ed has stolen $34 million in previous scams using the same brokerage? Had a different name, but I'll show you that it's the same brokerage. Proof that I called the collapse of the Ponzi scheme before it happened. How would I know that? How could I predict the end of Amazon? Scott Morris actually said, crypto program is the Amazon before it was Amazon. Like, it's going to be the next Amazon type. He was saying things like this. So could I predict the end of that? A multi-billion-dollar company, if this was true, a multi-billion-dollar company? No. How would I predict it within like a couple of weeks? It was within a couple of weeks time frame. Would proof that the state of California called it a Ponzi scheme help? What about proof that Ed's a liar? A lot of proof on that. Proof that Ed was arrested in the Netherlands and not just questioned. I'm not sure if Sonny Mott is on. I don't know, maybe he can raise his hand later and I can jump him in. Here's a reporter from the Netherlands that was in the courtroom during some things that were happening with Karina De Jong. We'll get into that later. Proof that Ed bought two $200,000 or more cars in the past few months. Would that change your mind? He lost 2.5 million, or his $2.5 million is held up. Then, how's he going out spending all this money? So you have two choices. You can blindly believe what Ed has said with zero proof. First, believe the facts in the mountain of evidence I'm presenting. So Why would you believe him? So if you have two choices, believe him or believe the facts, why would you believe him? So he was arrested for theft by taking at age 18. So I can verify this. Ask me later if you want to. He was arrested for theft by deception, which is fraud. That's lying to obtain something is, it's deception. So it's fraud at the age of 35, but he pled guilty to theft by taking. So he's misrepresented this a lot. I have his arrest record. So it was theft by deception. Hundreds of people online stating from 2010 onward saying he scammed them. And there's a Facebook group of victims where he stole the $34 million from. There's 370 people in that last I checked. So why would you believe him if this is all true? He was caught lying about his location. Well, I put out a video about that. Why would you even lie about that? It doesn't even make sense to me. But if you lie about something like that, then what else are you lying about? So Ed can't be a fraud. This is really interesting. Scott Moore's put out a clip today, and he said this.
This is why I encouraged everybody to attend Ponzi Patrol's Zoom. It is only when you listen to him, when you watch his body language, that you begin to realize what a fraud he is. You cannot be in the same room with Ed and believe that he's a fraud, okay? Unless he's the greatest con man on earth. But it's very, very easy to watch Ponzi Patrol and recognize him as a fraud. Very, very easy to do that. And that's why everybody should attend.
So you can't be in the same room with Ed and think that he's a fraud. Well, how about this? His ex-wife says that he's a fraud. And she knew him for 25 years. They were married for over 21 years, married over 20 years. She uncovered hundreds of infidelities. This is in this on the left here if you guys want to read through it, but I'm just covering the bullet points. Uncovered hundreds of infidelities. This is with his wife, the person who's known probably the longest besides maybe his parents. This is what she said in this post. It's well over $1 million that he took out the back door while I honestly worked and brought it in the front door. I am among the victim count. So Ed can't be a fraud. You can't be in the same room with him and say, oh, Ed's a fraud. But his wife was deceived for, it sounds like, over 20 years. Well, ex-wife at this point, because, you can't do all these things. She also said, many of you have asked me if I believe the story being told about him. And she said, yes, I do. So, it doesn't get much more clear than this. So do you believe Ed and his stories that have zero proof? And I just showed you all these things about this guy. So what if he was a sex offender? He's not a sex offender, so don't get me wrong here. At least not that I've seen. I don't think he's a sex offender. But what if he was, right? What if someone is a sex offender? Would you let a sex offender watch your children? No, right? So why would you trust a serial fraudster and liar with your money? Why would you trust what he's saying? It's like he's literally been convicted of theft and fraud. So why would you trust him? And it hasn't paid in over 7 months. Why would anyone blindly believe the story? Why not trust the evidence? So let's get into the promoters' lies so far. I'm not going to talk much about these right here because I'm just going to go through them really fast. I'm just going to pull them out. And then we're going to go through a few of them, and you can ask all the questions you want. Lie. Ponzi Patrol's lying. He doesn't have facts. We're getting into that. Ed said he wasn't arrested in the Netherlands. That's a lie. The money in AMSYS was made from ad spend. That was a lie. AMSYS would be back in 90 to 120 days. That was a lie. Ed said he would expose the anonymous people if this program rugged. It's been over 7 months with no money. Lie. Ed made a video from the Netherlands claiming to be in Atlanta. That was a lie. So AMSYS has 9 wallets. There are 3 total. Lie. It's your fault you lost your money. So this is a big one we'll touch on later. So the promoters are going to tell you it's your fault that you lost money. Lie. Ed is a great person in helping people. No chance. AMSYS will be around for a long time and is a real business. No chance. Here are the facts so far. No one has been paid for over 7 months. Ed's a serial Ponzi promoter or rug pulls or whatever you want to call it. Some people say, Ponzi Patrol, you can't prove that it's a Ponzi scheme. Well, I can prove that the money's not there, or that, people aren't getting paid. So that should be good enough. He promoted QAPI, COTPS, 3 PAM accounts, CryptoProgram, Arbitrage Stack, Miracle Cash. There's probably 50 or 100 more. Ed stole 34 million in his PAM accounts. That's a fact. Ed did not pay everyone back in the PAM accounts. He only paid a small number of those people for marketing purposes. That's evidenced by the Facebook group of 370 people saying this guy stole my money. Ed was arrested in the Netherlands for money laundering and providing illegal investment services. And it seems to me like he spent 9 days in jail. Ask me about that. I mean, he just wasn't online for, I think it was 10 days. He wasn't online. He wasn't in the hospital. No one took his phone. AMSYS was a Ponzi scheme, that's for sure. AMSYS was not doing ad arbitrage. That is also for sure. That's my background, is actually had ad arbitrage websites in the past where I'd run ads for them and make money from it. I've spent 8 figures on advertising. So I know that they weren't doing that. Jim Ware has no clue how to trace the blockchain. That's obvious. Jim Ware is a Ponzi player and promoter. He promoted Novatech, CryptoProgram, an arbitrage stack, and that's important just because he's keeping the hope alive here. Website updates do not lead to getting paid. Like, that's just, everyone realize that. It doesn't lead to you getting paid. Promoter lies. Here we're going to go through them a little more individually and talk about them, some of the important ones. So this one is just straight up fraud. The program makes money from buying ads. That's the claim, straight up fraud. They don't. Reality, the payments were made in the manner of a Ponzi scheme, and the rest of the money was laundered through Mugen Markets brokerage. And here comes the sources and the facts and the proof. This is just me saying this. California cease and desist. I don't know if I should open all of this. I will open this one, though. I don't think I'm going to open all of these going through. So this is California cease and desist. It says, in reality, most of the funds the crypto program received from investors were used to pay other investors in the manner of a Ponzi scheme. Later, it says, Zimbardi assured prospective investors that unlike the investments they had promoted in the past, crypto program was neither a scam nor a Ponzi scheme. Investors could be confident that they would never pull the rug or steal investor funds. Here we are 7 months later. Failing, this is something that they're accusing them of, failing to disclose that crypto program used investor funds to pay reported profits to other investors in the manner of a Ponzi scheme. So they don't say these things without having proof of that. But wait, there's more. We got to go back. Ponzi Patrol traced the blockchain. And ask me about this at the end. We'll go back to it, but I got to show you guys this actually really fast, just to show you the level that I've been to dismantle this stuff. This is the flow of funds that I've traced. This is Ed's PAM. This is a PAM. This is a PAM. This is a crypto program. It's out to Binance. This is the Mugen Markets liquidity provider, which is FX Edge. Look at all of this money from the PAMs and all this running to it. And that $34 million I've been talking about, weird, Ed Masterwallet, it runs out into Kraken at $34 million from the PAM accounts. All right. So ask me more about that later if you want some details. All right. So promoter lies. Ed wasn't arrested in the Netherlands. He was only questioned. We're going to get into all of that. Reality, Ed was arrested in the Netherlands for money laundering, providing legal investment services. Source, Georgia's Secretary of State said that he was arrested. And the Netherlands Financial News, FD.nl, so Sonny Mock writes these stories. And I have to go through that one. This is the last one I'm going to go through, promise. And then you guys can ask me at the end. This one is just too good to not go through because I don't think most people have seen this. So an American online marketer is suspected money laundering and offering illegal investment services. He was arrested in the Netherlands last week. He was released after questioning, but it seems to me he was arrested for 9 days. It wasn't like he was just pulled in and asked a question or something. He worked with Karina de Jong, the main suspect in the extensive fraud case. So Ed was, let's see, it concerns as body entrepreneur. Yeah, confirmed. Yes. Let me just find the parts that are relevant here. Ed Z did not respond to contact requests from the FD, so he just ignores them. Ed worked with Karina, who's the main suspect of it's a 56 million euro fraud case that was using Mugen markets. And they claim that she defrauded 1,400 customers, claiming 10% per month. Activity showed characteristics of Ponzi fraud. This stuff just follows Ed, doesn't it? 36 million euros of the 56 million were spent on personal expenses and profit distributions to other investors. And Ed was discussed during the trial. The public prosecution service called him the suspected founder of Mugen Markets, the illegal brokerage. So I've been saying this for months and months that he owned IMGFX and Mugen Markets. Now it's being brought up in court cases. So, okay, sure, they haven't proven it, but we have more information, not just this. Let's go back here. So we're going to talk about his arrest a little bit more. So it's related 56 million euro fraud case. It was connection to Karina de Jong. I just mentioned that. Karina named Ed as her contact at Mugen Markets. So whenever she was arrested, she contacted Ed as the contact at Mugen Markets. Ed is the presumed owner of Mugen Markets, according to the authorities. I just showed you that. Money from CryptoProgram was sent through Mugen Markets liquidity provider. That liquidity provider is called FX Edge. Mugen Markets is used in the process of laundering stolen money. So that is, I would say that I can't prove that one for sure, but where does all of the money end up that is sent through there? You know, you send all this money to Mugen Markets instead of investing in ads, then what are you doing with the money and what happened to it? And if Ed owns Mugen Markets or controls it, then it just makes no sense that so it has to be basically money being laundered. Where's Ed get all of his money from? Ed's friends and business associates use Mugen Markets for their PAM scams. So Scott Morris and Gary Wood. And Scott Morris, we got stable trading. And then you got Gary Wood had something called AI Freedom. So it's bitcoin18.com/AI Freedom PAM recordings. He was setting up his own PAM account using Mugen Markets, and they're all friends with Ed. Mugen Markets used to be called IMGFX, same exact business. Ed used IMGFX for his $34 million PAM scams, kind of covered that. Mugen Markets started having issues when Ed was arrested. Isn't that suspicious? Scott wants to move away from it now because it's got a little bit of heat. Extra source, Sonny Mock, mentioned him already. Ask me about this at the end if you want to see the sources. Like I can pull up. This is an email exchange here that I had with Sonny saying that he was in the courtroom whenever Ed's name was brought up. So Scott lied saying Mugen Markets bought the customer list from IMGFX. That's a video that I have recorded. He said that in one of his presentations. I can pull that up later if I need to. No, it's not, because it's the same brokerage owned by the same people. And there's more proof here, screenshots. They have the same testimonials. IMGFX is in all of the metadata. Again, ask me at the end. There have been payments made recently. Well, that's what they're saying, but no payments have been made to anyone in over 7 months. I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, there was a payment made. No payments. Source, the wallets, right? I can pull up those wallets at the end if anybody has a question about it. No payments have been made in 7 months. Jim Ware says there are 9 AMSYS wallets and they have a lot of money moving around. Well, reality, this isn't true. Zero evidence that Jim could show. This is likely the Mugen Markets liquidity provider and or money laundering services. So again, I said likely because if I have facts, I say the facts. If not, I'm connecting dots here and it only makes sense. But FX Edge, I can prove Mugen Markets, which is the Mugen Markets LP, which I can prove. So ask me. It's impossible to prove a negative without Jim showing the wallet. So if he would show me the wallets, I would just say, oh, that's this wallet and this wallet and this wallet. It has nothing to do with whatever he's saying it has to do with. Here are all the known CryptoProgram wallets. Ed Zimbardi's wallet that he used to start it in, I believe it was June 2022. and it's actually Ed's wallet that he uses. And he uses his own wallet. Well, he started it with an empty wallet, with a new wallet, and then now he uses it to, like send money to other people. I have multiple sources that have confirmed that. And the crypto program, ERC wallet, and the TRC wallet. Promoter the program is coming back. That's a lie. Okay, so reality, this will never return to paying everyone back. What it might do is pay a couple of people back. It may send money to a few people. Maybe same thing with the PAM scams, where he paid a few people back and everyone's going and saying, Ed's the best person in the world and posting all these testimonials. He's a man of honor. He kept his word, except there, he paid 20 people back, and now there are, hundreds or thousands of other people that didn't get paid back. The only reason he paid these other people back was to get a testimonial from them. He knows that, it's like, oh, it wasn't my scam, but I paid you back. So, you can just the least you could do is tell people how awesome it is that, I'm a man of my word. Reality, most people aren't getting their money back. This won't ever return. No, everyone in this program will not get their money back. 0% chance of that. They literally can't. To Ponzi schemes, it doesn't work that way. Ponzi schemes can't return. Source, Investopedia, this is just talking about Ponzi schemes and how they work. They can't sustain the payouts. That's the reason they all collapse. All these rug pull things, they all collapse because there aren't enough new investors. Another source is my track record. I've been 100% correct about scams and rug pulls. So, I'm lying, right? I'm lying. I'm making everything up, but I've been right about everything that I've said. So then what am I lying about? I mean, someone challenged me on this or asked me for proof. I've called out Novatech, CryptoProgram, Vortic United, GS Partners. None of them are paying people. So another lie. Passkey takes 7 months to implement and costs a lot of money. Reality, a competent developer could set this up within 1 to 4 weeks for a site with 15,000 users within the cost range of $500 to $50,000. And I know those are big ranges, but the reason is because it depends on how you implement it. If you implement it with like a done-for-you service type thing, like passkeys, it could be a lot cheaper. On this website, they say that they created their demo in 10 minutes. And then another source, ChatGPT, that I was asking. Another source here would be me also. I work with developers, I hire developers, I do online business stuff. So I know that it doesn't take 7 months to implement this. It's not hundreds of thousands of dollars. The site is actually fairly simple. It has 15,000 users, but I mean, in the scheme of things online, that's not that big of a deal. It's not that complex. So it doesn't take 7 months to implement. If someone can show me proof that it does, we can talk about it. AMSYS wouldn't set up a new site and passkey if it was a scam. So Maria Yepes Strawn, she said this, and that's not true at all. All Ponzi schemes do this. Not all, 90% maybe, especially any sophisticated Ponzi scheme. They do exactly this. The reason that they do is they kick the can down the road so that people don't go report them, right? So you have Wapi, who did something similar. GS Partners, right now, they're saying, oh, we're battling these fraud charges. That's why we can't pay you. But they collapsed first before they were getting all the cease and desist. And they shut down all the payments. They're saying, oh, it's going to come back. It's going to come back. They just don't want people to go mass report them. Vortic United did something like, give us 6 months to sort this out, and it's coming back on, I think they said it was March 1st or something, or I don't remember the exact details there, but they did the same thing saying it's coming back. They all do that. They sophisticated Ponzi schemes that take in a decent amount of money, they all do it. So more promoter lies. There was tens of millions of dollars of frauds we have to pause. In reality, there's no proof of this except one screenshot from some random person saying that they tricked the system. Tens of millions wouldn't be enough to shut down a multi-billion-dollar company. If this was true, there would be a multi-billion-dollar company. Plus, the scam was collapsing anyways. Source, CryptoProgram math sheet that I put together based on tracking all the wallets. Ask me about this later. This CryptoProgram collapsed at the exact time that it should collapse if it was a Ponzi scheme, which is how I was able to predict the end of the Ponzi scheme at about the time that I did. Promoter lies, more of them. Ed, Ponzi Patrol is wrong. CryptoProgram stopped paying 2 months after he said it would. What? All right. So if I called the collapse of Amazon within 2 months, if I say within the next 2 months, Amazon's going to be shut down, and then it was shut down, or say I said it was going to be 1 week and then it was 2 months, would you still be saying, oh, Ponzi Patrol is wrong? That guy's an idiot. He has no idea what he's talking about. I'm talking about a multi-billion-dollar company if it was, legitimate. But I called the collapse of it. In reality, I said it was going to be after the marketing event. And in reality, people stopped getting paid in July. Sources have screenshots of people saying, you can watch my videos also, but screenshots saying that people wouldn't get paid. Screenshots saying that people were missing payments from July. So I called it within like a couple of weeks. So it doesn't even matter if I was off by a couple of weeks or a month or even a year. It still collapsed. How do you predict the downfall of a legitimate company like that? So let's talk about Scott Morse's background. I think this is important because this guy really bashes me all the time. And he just tries to discredit everything that I'm saying. But he is the one that's like, he's promoting all these scams. Yeah, he said he was the biggest real estate wholesaler in Houston. It's a pretty bold claim, but I've never seen any evidence of this anywhere, anything, nothing. Maybe that's true, but I've never seen any evidence. They always ask for evidence. That's what I'm giving here. It'd be great if you could show any sort of proof of that. But in reality, Scott Morse had his Austin, Texas home foreclosed on in 2020. And this links to casetext.com/case/US Bank versus Morris. And this is him having his home foreclosed on. I can pull this up later too if I need to, but there's proof here. I'll send this to anyone who asked for it also. Scott Morse ran a PAM called the Rhino Fund, and the trader lost the money. So this was back in 2020 also. The similar thing is going to happen to stable trading. The Mugen Markets is going to take the money, or the trader is going to lose the money. Once he builds it up to a few $1,000,000, he's getting people to deposit more money. It's going to be the same thing. They're going to take it. And there's a video right here of Scott Morse talking about the Rhino Fund. So again, I'll send this to you. Anyone can ask. I'll show it to you. Scott Morse sued the trader in Rhino Fund, and this links to Pacer Monitor. So he sued that person and then dropped the lawsuit. So he sued someone called Ernie Gans, and then he dropped the lawsuit. And he filed the lawsuit himself. He didn't hire a lawyer. And according to some of my sources, this is another thing that I can't quite get into for my sources. So I can't verify this, but I think it's probably true because he filed the lawsuit himself, and it seems like something he would do. Take this or leave it, but everything else that I'm saying, leave it. But from what I heard, he raised $6,000 to sue the trader. I know that he did file the lawsuit himself for sure. And then he dropped the lawsuit. And then from what I hear, he kept the money to himself, but I can't confirm the money raised and that he kept it. I can confirm that he sued the trader and that he dropped the lawsuit. So Scott has openly admitted that he plays Ponzi schemes. And here was a video clip of him saying that he plays in Ponzi schemes and makes money in Ponzi schemes. So why would you trust him that CryptoProgram's not a Ponzi scheme, since he's made a substantial amount of money from scamming people in this one? He's saying it's not a Ponzi scheme because he doesn't want to get sued. But he did all of this stuff: the Rhino Fund, CryptoProgram, Quappy, COTPS, AAC, it's like Affiliate Advertising Club, Arbitrage Stack, and more. There's plenty of more that I could find, I'm sure. Scott lied about Ed being in the hospital when he was in jail. So maybe Ed went to the hospital for a day or something. But anyone here that knows Ed knows that he did not let his girlfriend, Birgitta Nagel, as people call her, he did not let her take his phone from him. I mean, come on. If anyone believed that, then what's the saying? I got a bridge to sell you? But no chance. All right. So stable trading is a scam. Here's some proof. Besides all the other proof that I've had with let's go back. Besides all the other proof, Ed owns or controls at a minimum Mugen markets, and I'll show more proof if people ask. So Ed used Mugen markets to steal, or IMGFX, which is the same brokerage, to steal money from his PAM accounts. And you have Gary Wood using Mugen markets. So that should be a little bit of a sign. Oh, Karina de Jong with the fraud in the Netherlands. She's being accused of operating a Ponzi scheme. I don't know enough about it. I haven't done my research into that. I haven't traced the wallets to say for sure it's a Ponzi scheme. Probably a Ponzi scheme. She used Mugen markets and Ed was her contact. So we have all of that. And then we also have the fact that the Z-score is basically so you have the bell curve for standard deviation. So we're getting a little bit nerdy here, but right in the middle of the bell curve would be 0, or like 1. Like it starts at 0 and then it goes over as 1 and then 2. Now you're starting to get out of the edges of the bell curve. And this is an 8.44, which means the trades are fake. So 8.44 means is 8.44 standard deviations away from the mean. You're 63 billion times more likely to be struck by lightning than for this to be real. Than for the trades to be real, you are literally 63 billion times more likely to be struck by lightning. And the chances that you're struck by lightning is 1 in a million, by the way. You can Google it. I know everybody's going to want a source. Google it. Jim Ware. All right. I didn't mean to put all these on here at once, but this guy defended Novatech the same way that he's defending CryptoProgram. Novatech's been a collapsed Ponzi scheme. It was a billion or multi-billion-dollar Ponzi scheme. I called that one out too. He was all in my comment section yelling at me about things. So obviously you can't spot a scam. So what is he talking about here? Jim's helping the promoters keep this alive by mentioning the 9 wallets and saying there's activity. That's not what's happening. We've already talked about that. I'd like to see some sort of proof so I can negate that, but you can't, he won't show me. He won't show anyone that I know of the wallets. The other wallets, so he won't share them. They're likely related to money laundering activities and Mugen Markets LP. If he showed me the wallets, I would confirm what they were. Jim has threatened me saying I'd be sued if I didn't remove my YouTube videos. And this links to an email exchange where LifeLens Forever, which is Jim's, I guess, anonymous account that he tried to use. He told me that I need to remove my YouTube videos or that I was going to be sued and all these people are going to sue me. So, here, back to this part. Why would I not be an asshole to this guy if he is saying that? He has made up some things that I've said about him. I have said some mean things to him, but at the same time, he has made some things up that I've said that I didn't say. But yeah, I should be an asshole to this guy. He's threatening to sue me or saying that people are going to sue me if I don't remove my YouTube videos, warning people about scams. Okay. Having a background in IT does not mean he's an expert at crypto. He clearly can't spot a scam. He was in Arbitrage Stack and Novatech. All right, so this is another thing. They say you should take responsibility for your actions. And I actually do agree to some extent. You should, a little bit. So there's a book by Jocko Willink, I think is his name, called Extreme Ownership. And I believe in that. And the reason I believe in that is that you should take responsibility for your actions just so that you can learn something from it and move forward. But at the same time, 2 things can be true at once. People could have defrauded you and lied to you. And, you can also take responsibility for the part that you played. So the thing is, like, people didn't have all of the information. They said it was a real company. It was going to be around for decades. It's been around for more than a decade, is what Ed Zimbardi said. He should be a quadrillionaire if what he was saying was true. I showed that in the debate that we had. So, yeah, the main thing here that I think is that the promoters should take personal responsibility for their actions and be held accountable. This is the main thing so they tell you to take responsibility, but they don't take responsibility for lying to you and convincing you to invest your money in a scam, right? Like Ed Zimbardi especially, and then you have the other promoters. Jim has to know. Scott definitely knows that it's a Ponzi scheme. There's no chance that he doesn't. Most of these people, all they do is promote Ponzi schemes. The Maria lady, Maria Yepes Strawn, she promoted Novatech. if they've been involved in this stuff, then they know that it's a scam. So this is why they attack me. They dox me, they issue death threats. And so my goal is to help the victims and hold them accountable. And I cost these promoters money by warning about the scams. That's why they don't like me. That's why it's an us versus them. That's why they come after me. I go after them because they're scamming people. Why would I not? It just wouldn't make sense not to. So what can be done? What can be done about all of this? So do nothing and hope. That's one thing you can do. That's what they want you to do. They want you to do nothing and hope. Worst option, we discussed Ponzi schemes never start paying again. Hope I've proven that it's a Ponzi scheme by now, if not ask for more proof. The California cease and desist, how is that not enough? I trace the blockchain, I'll show it to you. All these people involved have promoted multiple Ponzi schemes. The money disappeared and has been going for 7 months. Nothing that they're saying has been true or will be true. You can also file a lawsuit. This is a great idea, actually. It would probably need to be a class action. If you're going to sue Ed, need to be a class action taken on contingency. Contact me if you're interested in this. I can't promise anything. But if you want to sue the promoter that got you into this, you could do that without contingency, maybe. But they probably don't have enough money for it to matter a lot of times. I've heard some people live in some pretty large homes, though. I'll just leave it at that for now. Contact the SEC. That's another option that you have. And I think this is the most important one by far. If everybody leaves this call and emails the SEC, I mean, there are 30, looks like there are 30 people on here. If everybody that's on here goes and emails the SEC all at once, right after this call, they'll take it more seriously. So, I mean, what's the next best thing to getting your money back? Wouldn't it be the people that stole your money? Wouldn't it be them facing justice? I mean, I think that it would be. You may even get a percentage of your money back. So the lawsuit thing, we'll talk about that more in a second. So here are a couple of myths about this. So this is what the promoters will tell you. And anyone who promotes Ponzi schemes, they all say the same shit. You'll never get your money back if you sue. They all say that. And it is not true. The key would be to sue the promoters as well, because Ed has all of his money hidden. Why do you think it's taking the government so long? It's because they're trying to get access to all this. Shell companies in multiple jurisdictions, money laundering, running it through a liquidity provider, right? It's going to be hard to get to Ed to get your money back. And lawyers won't even take the case on contingency, by the way. If you tried to sue Ed by yourself, they wouldn't take the case. Maybe not even on contingency, but the key is getting the promoters involved in a RICO case like they did with Novotech. So the promoters don't want you to do this because they might get in trouble and have to give their stolen money back. So they have a motivation to tell you not to do this. It can happen. That's for sure. I mean, people sue people all the time that stole their money and they get it back. So it is a possibility. The key is finding the right lawyer that knows what they're doing. Again, reach out to me about that. May or may not be able to help. You'll never get your money back if you go to the SEC. Well, this isn't true. You can look at Zeek Rewards, eMiniFX, MTI. MTI is kind of it's a mess, but it is possible. Everyone will just say the government takes all the money if you go to the SEC, and that government does take some money and a lot of them, all the money in some cases, but you still have the chance to get justice. And that's a worst case scenario, is getting justice, right? So maybe you'll get some of your money back. So it's unlikely, but infinitely better chance than if you do nothing. If you do nothing, again, your money will never, it's all gone. They tell you not to do this because they'll get in trouble. Obviously, like imagine someone like Josh Berman or Scott Morris saying, don't go to the SEC, the government's bad. That's an us versus them thing that they all do. A lot of people actually on the Zoom call might be anti-government. I'm not a big government fan myself. I would consider myself a lot closer to a libertarian than anything. I don't want to get into politics too much, but I'm not a big government guy. But these laws have been in place since 1933 and 1934, the SEC laws. So, like there's a reason these things exist. is so that people don't lie to you to convince you to give them money and then they disappear with it. All right, so if you want to sue, contact me on Telegram by email. This is my contact information. Again, I can't promise anything. I have talked to a few lawyers. Don't want to say too much currently because there's not enough solid stuff to go on. But contact it. Anyways, I'll leave this here for just a second. Have some water while you guys, if anybody wants to write it down, maybe. All right. Oh, by the way, I won't tell anyone that you contact me. Notice I say I can't share my sources for that information. And the reason is because if you contact me, I won't tell the next person that you contact me. If someone says, have you talked to, I don't know, name some other, Colleen, I think her name's Colleen. Have you talked to Colleen Campbell? My answer is going to be like, I can't tell you yes or no, because if I say no, then you ask me about Jim Ware, then it will end up with, if I say like, no, I haven't talked to him, or yes, I have, then it's like, well, why didn't you say anything about, you know what I'm saying? It'll give away too much information. All right, SEC contact, you should contact Jack Westrick. So he's at the SEC. He's high ranking in Georgia. It used to be William Hughes. Now I think that you should contact Jack Westrick. I accidentally clicked that. But here we are. We're back at, so Jack Westrick, he's high ranking in Georgia, and he'll likely respond to your email. I would say about guaranteed he would respond to your email. Just say that you had your money stolen in AMSYS, tell him your story, subject line Ed Zimbardi, and I almost guarantee you he will reply to you. SEC information, I don't speak for them, but based on the investigations I've worked with and the contacts that I've had with the SEC, I'd assume they want these things: wallet addresses, any and all message with promoters, screenshots of income claims made by any promoter. That's, by the way, that's why Ed had all of this stuff deleted after we had our debate. He's told everyone to take all the videos down, and those videos are evidence of fraud and misrepresentations. So they probably want your promoter's name and wallet, any information you can provide, and why you invested. So again, Westrick, j@sec.gov. Write that down. Other resources, there's power in numbers here, right? So say, for example, there is a class action lawsuit. How do you know if you're just in the Fire Team 1 group where he just yells about how I'm a fag and, like just calls me names and stuff and refuses to debate me or can't provide any proof that this is legitimate other than stories? So if you're only in that group, then how would you know if there's a class action lawsuit? How would you get your money back in that case? How would you know what's going on? So it's basically like, even if you're on the fence, if you're a promoter, then, like fuck off, basically. But if you are a victim, if you're a true victim, or if you're on the fence and you think, wow, maybe this stuff that I'm seeing here, is possible, that's what's happening. In that case, then join Telegram groups, and there's a Telegram group and a couple of Facebook groups, and you can contact me and I'll get you those. So I gave you my contact information already. Here it is again. So questions or disagree? So quick disclaimer, I haven't done a webinar like this before, because I don't do these like Ponzi pitches and all that stuff that all these other guys do. I'm not an expert at this part, but I do want the promoters to step in first if they're here, because I know they're going to disagree and say, but what about this? If anyone's here, which I doubt they are, if they are, I want them to hop in first. Otherwise, people can, talk in the chat or raise your hand. I guess that's how it works. I don't know exactly how this works. So give me a second. We'll figure that out. Answer everybody's questions. So we're going to stop sharing the screen here and see if there's a chat. So if anyone wants to pop in, actually, like if you raise your hand, I can let you in to chat with me on screen. And, we can have a debate, or we can have a conversation, or you can ask a question. And if you're not a promoter, I promise I won't be an asshole. Promise. Or if you guys just have some questions and you want to drop it in the chat here, then let's do that. I'm sure somebody's got a question. Full throttle. What about you? You said enable chat. This is a Q&A. Did you have a question? How do I know it's Ed's wallet? So I think you're probably talking about, it's a good question. I think you're probably talking about the wallet that is where Ed started CryptoProgram private name tags. So I'll pull this up. Ed. Hopefully Ed's here. Ed could chime in and confirm that it's his wallet. So I've had multiple people tell me that it's Ed's wallet in private, and I can't share who they are, but what I can share, I'll get to the rest of these questions in a second. What I can share though is that, just pulling this up, that this wallet started CryptoProgram. So someone said, hey, I know this other wallet that Ed has. And then I had other people reach out to me and say, I know this other. I've talked to at least 50 people, probably closer to 100 people. Anyways, I'm going to share this on my screen really fast. Share. And I'm going to show you that this wallet isn't one of the wallets that anyone knows about. Am I sharing the right screen? I hope I am. Screen. You're sharing screen. Okay, yeah. So these are the old transactions. And you can see I have stuff tagged here. In here, this is 648 days ago. This is June 14th, 2022. So I've had 2 people tell me about this wallet. Maybe 3 people, at least 2 people told me about this. Can't remember. But $550 in. Does that not look like a package? $2,200 in. So they told me about this wallet, and it is June 2022, which is when CryptoProgram started. I don't know if the person's actually on the, if any of the people are on the chat. Yeah, here, 1100, right? You can see that that's what this is. This is the start of CryptoProgram from a separate wallet than anyone else would ever give you. And this is Ed. I have this wallet tag, cash out from CP to flow through 3. So he flows the money around. Yeah, that's what this is. The start of CryptoProgram. No one else like asked Jim Ware about this wallet, but he doesn't even know what I'd be talking about. Okay, stop sharing screen. Let's see what some other questions are. How do I know? Is there someone on here that was a person who gave me one of the wallets? I don't know who all showed up to this. How many people we have on here right now? 16. I'm sure you guys got some more questions. How do you know about Roth card and the link to AMS? So I had a couple of people reach out to me about this also, and the only links that I've seen, because I haven't looked into this too much, is the site apparently like went down and was having trouble whenever Ed was in the hospital, whenever he was arrested. And Jim Ware, actually, not that this matters, because I don't know if it's true or not. I'm going to assume it probably isn't. The IP was the same. Exactly. Someone said the IP was the same. I checked the IP myself and I couldn't figure it out. But Ed and Scott, this is some other circumstantial evidence. Ed and Scott said that they said they were going to be starting a crypto card. And if they were starting a crypto card months ago, and now there's a Roth card out, it's a crypto card, just like Transact. Okay, I see that, Heather. You're saying people in. I hope you guys showed up anonymously, by the way. It looks like some of you did. I have another question. There was a previous video using Dune tracking the amounts of deposits that led to the belief it is Ed's wallet. Not sure exactly what you mean. But a lot of the big cash outs were going, they ended up moving through to the Mugen Markets liquidity provider. So basically, I think what they do, could be wrong about this part, but this is where the money goes through FX Edge. I have this tracked, and ask me, I'll pull it up, but it's kind of boring. It's kind of nerdy too. The money goes through like the Mugen Markets liquidity provider. I kind of showed it earlier. And once it goes through there, I think what they do is they initiate a trade. So the money goes in these wallets, they initiate a trade, it goes to the liquidity provider, and it comes out the other side clean because it was a trade. I think that that's what's happening. What is Jim referring to with 800 million in the wallets? I honestly can't, I don't know. If Jim would show a wallet with $800 million in it, I could probably say what the wallet was. You know, I would look up the wallet myself and be like, oh, that's obviously, it's probably FX Edge. That's my guess, the liquidity provider. It's either that or like a Binance wallet. So I think Jim got confused. He said, oh, there were billions in this one wallet. I think that it was a Binance wallet. What do I know about the money being traded versus ad spend? Yeah, so saying it was Binance. So what do I know about the money being traded versus ad spend? So my background is in advertising. That is my background. I mean, for 9 years, that's what I've done. So my background before, I was a professional poker player. I dropped out of like college, like business school, to be a professional poker player. And then I transitioned into online business and buying advertising. And so he's right, like the average return on ad spend. So if you look up Google's return on ad spend, like 2.86, sure, we'll take that number. We'll say it's probably like that. To actually get that at scale is almost impossible if you're dealing with some little like affiliate programs or something. But the reason is you got to do so much testing. Whenever you do all this testing, and this is just my experience, I'll also talk about the proof. But whenever you have to do so much testing, what happens is you're spending money, losing money, and then you find a winner. And once you find the winner in affiliate, like ad arbitrage, like what he's saying, it'll go really well, and then it'll just start dropping off because you'll start getting competitors. There are so many ad spy tools out there that people can say, okay, this person, I've been seeing this ad for 3 weeks now. And that's all they do. They spy on ads, they find something that's working, and then they go rip it off and they do the exact same thing. And then they make test variations. So what you do is you get a big spike in revenue, and then it gradually goes down over time back to zero, to where you can't make any money. You can't take 100. The issue isn't taking in money for this stuff. So if you start with 10 grand and you have a 3 return on ad spend, so you make 200%, then if you make that, sorry, more questions. If you make that 200%, that's great, but it trickles down over time. You're not ever like, let me have more money so that I can put all the money in. As soon as you put more money into advertising, what happens also is the CPM, it's called the CPM, the cost per 1,000 impressions goes up. So if you're making a 3 return on ad spend, 200%, then what happens is you bump your budget and the CPM goes up. So you don't make as much money. Some proof would be the California cease and desist. And also the tracing that I showed. So the proof, California cease and desist said that they weren't doing that. What they were doing was paying people in the manner of a Ponzi scheme. And there's so much evidence that it's a Ponzi scheme. It's ridiculous. If you want more of that, you guys can ask me. Pull that up too. But yeah, it's just a Ponzi scheme. Whenever the money was being traded, I think what that money went to, let me pull that up. That money went to Mugen, let's see, slides. The money went to Mugen Markets, and I think it was mainly just to be laundered. I'll try to pull that up here in a second. Can I also use the Westrick to provide transparency about the PAMs? By the way, there's at least 5 PAMs: Forex, Gold, Swing, High Risk, and Ed's personal PAM. Or is he only about, oh, you're talking to me, I'm guessing, is he only about the CP issues? I'm mainly talking about crypto program issues, AMSYS issues here. But yes, send Jack Westrick It's not Westrick at SCC, it's Westrick J. Westrick J at cc.gov. Send him an email about that too. I'm sure he'd like to hear it. I mean, any proof of misrepresentations by Ed where he stole money, because these are all related. Remember, all the money went out to IMGFX, and these things went to IMGFX or to Mugen markets. Reality, let's see. Let me find some information. I wonder if Sonny's here, if he wants to pop in. But the money being traded is what you were asking about. So, okay, yeah, we got 1, 2. So here's just some proof that IMGFX and Mugen markets are the same. And I'll share my screen again, share. Let's see. So whenever you search, you can do this right now. They tried to clean this up. If you search site, Mugen markets IMGFX, it shows here that Mugen markets is the same. Yeah, because becoming an introducing broker with IMGFX, that's not, if it wasn't the same business and the same site, they wouldn't be doing that. So Ed was sending the money there for his PAM accounts, and then now he's sending them there. He was sending the money there for this. So I don't think they were actually trading. Oh, something else was the, if you want this, ask me. It's going to take me a few minutes to pull that up. But the California cease and desist actually said, California cease and desist, it actually said CFDs. And here is the disclaimer at the bottom of the website that it said was there. This is how I figured out that it was Mugen markets and IMGFX. I pulled it up from the California cease and desist. It was saying that the money was actually sent there for trading Forex. I don't think they're actually trading to make money. I don't actually believe that like a brokerage like this is going to have a trader that's going to make, he's not going to make 300% per year or something with this kind of money. Again, that's something you could do on your own and maybe get, I would just call it lucky. You could get lucky for a couple of years. Like if you're riding the crypto wave right now, you could crush it because the halving's coming up, all of the ETFs and all that stuff's pumping money in. Everyone believes it's going up, so it probably will go up, and you can make a lot of money, especially in some altcoins. But for trading like Forex over time, you're not going to make 300% per year consistently, not without massive risk. So there's no way he was just trading all this money. I think that they traded the money to launder it. That's my guess. Here is also this. Let me zoom in here if you can see this. This is up top. This is IMGFX. So this is from Wayback Machine. I pulled it from archive.org. And this is the same exact testimonial. Melanie Smith, same photo, says this, I'm very happy. Lau A, same photo, same thing. They just duplicated the website. Scott Morris said that Mugen markets bought the customer list of IMGFX. No, they bought the entire business and the money was flowing to all the same places. That's what was happening. See if there are more questions. The $34 million figure is coming out of one, someone else said this before. There were multiple people in the PAM accounts that said that he stole that. And then I pulled it up and I found the $34 million figure coming out of the PAMs. So let me go back to sharing my screen again. Share screen. There we go. So this is hard to follow on this screen. If anybody wants access to this, email me, contact me on Telegram. But here, these are wallets on Arkham Intelligence. And this is EdPAM2. So what I did is I connected what you do whenever you're tracing wallets is that, and I'm not an expert at this, but I know a little bit about it. It's a puzzle piece. So what you need are more pieces of the puzzle. Once you get a couple pieces of the puzzle, it starts to all put together pretty quickly. And what I did have already was CryptoPrograms, 2 wallets, and then I had 2 actually, because I've had people reach out about 2 of Ed's wallets. This is a wallet that someone gave me, and I figured out there was a PAM that was running to IMGFX, same as Mugen Markets. I think this one was a CryptoProgram. And anyways, so I put this all together and traced the money all around and figured out what was happening. And these accounts, Ed PAM1, Ed Zimbardi's second wallet, that's PAM2 or PAM3, and this is PAM2. That money, you can see that it's flowing all around here, but you can see like, why does Ed, I mean, here's a question. Why does Ed have $12.3 million flowing through any wallet if he's just an affiliate? I mean, really, so Ed's an affiliate. I mean, this guy's filed bankruptcy before. I don't know. Like, he lives in a fairly modest house. Not that that means too much. I know he doesn't want to live in a modest house, though, because he used to not. He used to live in a really big. Why does he have $12.3 million flowing anywhere out of a wallet that I know is his? Okay, so anyways, here's 2.5 million. All this money converges back. It's running through Binance Hot Wallet here. So this is Mugen Market out to Binance. So this is flowing through the Mugen Market accounts. And wish I could. So this money is rolling to Ed Master Wallet, Mugen Market, FX Edge account, another LP. So it's flowing all through out to here, and it goes up even to the Mugen Markets account. And you can see 46 million this way. There's just money coming everywhere. And I've traced it all. And what ends up happening, this is a master wallet. I think it's probably a money laundering service. It's my guess. I've talked to some other people that trace crypto and they think the same thing. And 34 million goes out to Kraken from Ed's master wallet. So, Ed, if you're watching this, I got all your wallets, man. But the master wallet here, there's going to be a lot of money sitting there. And anyways, that money, there's 34 million that comes out of it. And all of this, basically, whenever I trace it all, it flowed from the PAM accounts. It flows around to different places and then ends up all coming back out to here and then rolling out to, it's 34 million. So hopefully that answered it, but it's kind of complicated unless if people know what they're doing, we could sit down and go through it together. But I'm showing you there's the $34 million number. So Ed told me in a chat conversation that he had made a ton of money in ad spends before selling the business years ago. I don't have much detail on that. What I do know is that Ed, actually I know a little bit about this, but I don't. Anyways, Ed sold, someone said it's a lie. Okay, yeah. I don't think Ed's made the money that he claimed to have made legitimately ever. The money that he's made, I think, came from stealing money. It sounds like from his ex-wife's business. There's one. Another thing would be the let me pull up the slides here. Yeah, so he had something with the SEC where I think he did a reverse merger. I don't know enough about this stuff to get into it. I'm just telling you what I think. I think he did a reverse merger at some point and like bought a company. So he had like EasyJR and then something else, like something Wise, I think. But no, I don't think he was doing what he said he was doing. Basically, he sold his public company that was on some like bogus exchange. He sold that. And I think he sold all of his shares and got something like $30,000. Like this is all in the SEC website. Again, that's complicated. I don't know as much about that. I ran it through ChatGPT and it told me the same thing. So I think I came to the right conclusion. Complaints. So I have this here that talks about some money of Ed's, some from back in the day. So I think that this would be interesting. There's a guy named something Marion. I looked at this earlier. Marion, this is 2016. I was his partner, and I come with evidence that he scammed a lot of people. Who wants the evidence? Please reply here. He scammed me, his partner, for over $180,000. This is Marion Miku. I guess that's Miku. 2016, where he's writing this online. And this is I'm not sure which website that's on. Let's see. Not Yelp. Must be on the same website as these two. But yeah, so he stole $180,000 in 2016, according to this guy who was his business partner. So I don't think he was doing ad spend stuff like he says. He also, one other thing is that Ed told me that he's been in that game. I checked out his Warrior Forum. So whenever I say this stuff, it's internet marketing forums from back in the day. He has no posts, no connections with anyone doing ad spend. Maybe he had clients of some sort of business that were like people like Dan Locke, as he claims. But I reached out to a lot of these people that he told me would vouch for him. He said, like, oh, I know these people, they vouch for me. I reached out to them and none of them replied. I did this on Twitter. I said, do you know Ed Zimbardi? He said he claims to be really big into affiliate advertising with paid traffic marketing, like paid traffic affiliate marketing. No one got back to me. We have some more questions, or anyone disagree with anything I'm saying? I have other evidence stuff that I can go into if there's something that people want to see. And I do find it entertaining that none of the promoter people want to show up and defend themselves. Yeah, thanks. Heather, I'm not sure who you are, but it sounds like you probably have an idea of what's going on here. Yeah, no problem, Mark. Yeah, I'm happy to expose this for sure. What I really want people to do and take from this is that I'm bringing proof and facts, and that I want people to, what I want is I want people to report this to the SEC. That's really what I want. I want that to happen, and also reach out to me so that we could possibly do something about a lawsuit, because Ed's been doing this since he was 18. It's a lot of info. Yeah, thanks. Yes, he's been doing it for too long. That's for sure. And no, it's not a personal vendetta or whatever they want to say. It's about, justice for people. It's like if anyone else that I knew of that was doing this, I would be doing the same thing. Okay, yeah. I mean, I can make this available. I wasn't sure if I was going to record this or not, because I wasn't sure if people would want their privacy, but it seems like there's, people came in anonymously, a lot of people that would want their privacy. Yeah, no problem, Monica. I'll do that. Yeah, you're welcome. Is that Tawana? I'm not sure if it's your real name. Does anyone want to pop on and chat about anything? If you have any questions, put them here. I'll give you another minute or two if you guys have anything. I mean, I know the promoters have said a lot of things. So if there's something that they've said that you want to ask about, then like I'll tell you if I know and can prove it, I'll tell you yes or no. Like there's so much stuff that I missed here or breezed by that if people have questions, I want to show the proof. I really wanted the promoters to come on here and tell me that I'm making things up, because that's all what they always say. I wanted them to come on here and tell me that and challenge me to, challenge my facts, but they didn't. So I think that says a lot, actually. That should say a lot to anyone who is, who's following someone like Scott, for example. Yeah, no problem. We can do that later. And sorry, I'm an old man and couldn't figure out the the chat earlier. Yeah, I'll give you guys another minute if anyone has a good questions. Yes, the promoters they are, I would call them scum also. The big excuse seems to be they keep saying people see progress on the site, so no one will expose the owners. Right. I mean, there's so many, like, where's the proof? I mean, all right, let's say there are updates on the site. What is that? Like, what does that do? Like, what does that do for anyone? What I covered earlier is that it doesn't take 7 months to set up not LastPass, pass key. It doesn't take 7 months to do that. I work with developers. It doesn't take that long to get stuff done. Imagine this. What Ed's claiming is that this is a multi-billion-dollar company. So I'm going to pretend his story's true here and just rip holes in it. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. Yet they can't set this up within 7 months. It took them 7 months to set up passkey. And then also the other things, they were supposed to come back 90 to 120 days. Why wouldn't they do that? If they're making all of this money, imagine Amazon shutting down. I mean, Amazon's a bigger company. That's an example. Imagine them shutting down, or Microsoft shutting down for 7 months, and they can't take in new investors. They leave people hung out to dry. Imagine that happening because they need to set up passkey on their website. You can set up passkey while the site's live. You don't need to take the site down for 7 months. Gary is definitely not a programmer or knowledgeable of web development. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that exactly. But yeah, it just makes no sense. It's what they're saying. Like, why would they take a site down? Also, why can't they just give you your money back? They could figure out the fraud. You could hire, imagine this, they're a billion-dollar company and they need to fix, there's fraud in the company. Actually, I want to show you this. This is actually CryptoProgram math. This is nerdy too, but this is on topic with what we're talking about. Share screen, desktop. So I put this together, and this isn't exactly right, but I'm happy to be able to share this. So my estimation is that Ed's still about $41 million. And I got these numbers from the Dune graph, and I estimated these based on the Dune graph. And then the other ones I started switching over to, I think I used ChatGPT to pull out the numbers to, say like, oh, this is about how much they took in this month. So we got somewhere close to here. What we're looking at is the monthly deposit starting in July. I think it started in June, middle of June. But the claimed return on ad spend, they had this much deposits, claimed return on ad spend, and this, so the monthly payouts. So think of it this way, they pay out after 30 days. They take in the money, they don't pay anything out those 30 days. What it does is they start getting more monthly deposits, and then the claimed back in profit ends up being this much because they have all of this money, 96 million at this point down here at the bottom right, the sum, 96 million working for them. So they should be making $178 million, 179 million per month. Now imagine if this just kept going. They'd be making billions of dollars every single month and then trillions of dollars every month. So imagine a company making this much money, claimed back in profit the entire time that they were running, $879 billion. Now imagine I'm off by 10%. All right, whatever. Total investment, 102 million. So imagine that they did that. Their total payouts that they paid everyone was only $60 million. And the Ponzi spread, so assuming this is a Ponzi, this is what I meant, not assuming it is a Ponzi, I'm just saying, for you, if you don't necessarily agree, just assume that it is for a second. $41 million Ponzi spread. So I've estimated he stole about $40 million from this because the spread between the deposits and the payouts, which is here, deposits and payouts, this is the spread. And look, whenever I was predicting the collapse. It was the time whenever Ed was depositing his own money back into the program to get through June to do the marketing events in Atlanta and in Europe. So he was going around trying to raise money, but he had so much money due that he probably broke even or lost a little bit of money. And then in July, he quit paying. So everyone started saying they were missing payments in July. So I was saying it was going to collapse then. So how did I know it was going to collapse? Because the intake wasn't high enough to keep paying. That's how Ponzi schemes work. Isn't that just a coincidence? Is it, ask yourself, is it a coincidence that this is the math of a Ponzi scheme where it collapsed exactly in June? It would have collapsed in June, but ended up in July and August because he quit paying people. So you see here, he only paid some of the people. And then in this month, he paid almost no one. You know, the $2 million, I think he sent out somewhere else. But imagine a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar company like this, or a company that's going to be making 879 million. Sorry if I said that wrong earlier, but billions of dollars per year, and they can't fix a website in 7 months so they can continue their business. And the claimed fraud, tens of millions, say it's $50 million. If it's $50 million in fraud, then they still had 829 million in profit. Why can't they just fix that and pay everyone back? Just give everyone their money, their 102 million back, give it all back, and then keep your 700 million. Okay. I mean, that should be enough to. All right. We got a lot of questions now. This is great. So yeah, if they're working on the website, then why wouldn't they do that? Why is he not exposing the people? It's because they're anonymous. The people in the PAM accounts that were trading are all anonymous. It's a theme with that. Everyone's anonymous in the background. And he says, can you show evidence of this? That's his only excuse. Do you have proof? It's like, well, I have all this proof that I've already shown and a lot of circumstantial evidence. I think I could, if I was a prosecutor and went to school for this for a few years, with my information, I think that I could get him. Let me clarify. I did not go to school for this. I said, if I did go to school for, to be a lawyer, I think that I could probably prosecute him with the evidence that I have. And the governments have a lot more evidence because they can do subpoenas and all that. The red flags with Ed was him demanding anyone who had something negative to say. Demeaning, sorry, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's a cult tactic for sure. I mean, I've shown videos, I'm guessing you've seen this too, where he's just yelling at people. If you want to, what do you say? He was talking about the cryptics thing, the Polish exchange. He said, if you want to go and do all your little research, then bye, Felicia, you're gone. I'll cancel your packages. He was saying that if you wanted to look into the registration of it, if you question him at all, it's nuts. They were gone for 5 months before unveiling the new website. And when it did come online, tons of people had trouble even logging in. All of that should have been tested. Yes, I agree. So, I mean, if there's, again, if his story was true, it still doesn't make sense. I can build a website in less than a day. I've built like over 100 websites. I could set up a website in less than a day. If you have a competent programmer, then a developer, it's very easy to set up this is a basic website. I know they say it's all complex. This is a basic website. There's not like much functionality there. Like a lot of this would be plug and play stuff like bulk sender. You just have an account. This is all like built in. You can buy themes or like kits, basically, I would call them, where you can set it up on your website and it's plug and play. You could literally buy this for like $1,000 and it's already done for you, all of it. You can buy stuff with passkey implemented, I'm sure. Like it's not complicated. All of them have too many stories, so it changes. Yes. Again, all they have are stories. If they had evidence of something or proof to the contrary of what I'm saying, why wouldn't they be here to defend it? If someone was saying that I was scamming people and stealing a bunch of money, and they were hosting a Zoom call with the victims that I supposedly stole money from, I would show up and be like, what are you talking about? Like, here, show me the proof. What are you talking? But why don't they do that? The facts aren't on their side. They claim things are moving forward. Yes. Yeah, you were told you would never lose money. This is the thing. This is fraud. This is why this is a problem. What I was saying earlier, I mean, you need to take responsibility in a way that you learn from what happens, but not in such a way that you beat yourself up and you feel dumb if you lost money to these people, because they are really good at what they do. They're really good at what they do. So they are great at telling stories. And if anyone's not involved in crypto already, you think that these gains are possible. You think like, oh, this is real. This is like, I found it. This is the ticket. Then you have the testimonials about Ed. You have everyone saying you won't ever lose your money. Well, you're saying you were told not to risk more than you can afford to lose. Yes. But then that's followed by, oh, here are two YouTube videos I'm going to do on how you can actually get creative with financing if you don't have money to put into it. Or that's Scott Morris. He did two YouTube videos, one with Commander Jay Offner, where they were talking about creative financing so that you could invest more money into CryptoProgram. And I think he did one with Gary Wood. So don't invest more than you can afford to lose, but here's how you can go out and get a loan. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, but you can, buy your freedom packs. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, but that's what they do. And it's something they feel like they have to say it. This isn't financial advice, but here's a bunch of financial advice. It doesn't excuse fraud, basically. So even if they told you don't invest more than you can afford to lose, this wasn't a risk. This was a scam. There's a difference. Risking is when you know what you're getting yourself into. You know you're buying into some trading thing that is, you're going to put your money into Bitcoin. Is that risky? Yes. But you know what the risks are exactly. Now, if I'm saying I have this project, give me $10,000 and I'll give you $2,500 a month. Just trust me, these anonymous people in the background. And then you come to find out that it was a Ponzi scheme. That's just fraud. That's not a risk. That's why I get so like, that's why I do what I do. I get like worked up about it a little bit sometimes. I'm like, it's not a risk. It's fraud. There's a major, major difference. Going to a casino to play poker or slots, you know what you're getting into. That's not fraud. You know you're gambling. You know what it is. Investing into a safe company, but don't invest more than you can afford to lose. But here's how you take out a loan. Here's how you refinance your house or get a HELOC. Scott Morris was telling people so he did the two videos, and then he actually said that he was a dissenter, meaning he disagrees whenever someone said that they shouldn't take out a HELOC. So he said he disagrees with that. And then someone did actually take out a loan on their home and they killed themselves. So don't invest more than you can afford to lose, though. But here's how here's what I think. You should go get a loan. Buy freedom packs, quit working 9 to 5. Yeah. And I think he had a leaderboard. He was gamifying it. See, they're really smart. They're smart at scamming people. They're great at it. He had like a leaderboard thing. You guys could probably remember what I'm talking about. If someone wants to tell me the name or what he was saying. It was basically like the 6-figure club or something. Like you're going to make 6 figures per year. All you had to do was what is it you have to make? Like 8,000 a month or something. I don't know. But was that like 32, 67 packs? There you go. See, he did the math for you. 600 pack club. Yes. That's exactly right. So, I mean, they were gamifying it. The event in Atlanta, I don't know if anyone here went to the event in Atlanta, but they were bringing the promoters, Jamsey. How about he just like disappears and then people forget about it. That guy's awful too. He made a lot of money doing this. I think, could be wrong here. Maybe someone can chime in if you know this. I think he put his home into a trust after he had dinner with Scott and Ed. So if he put his home into a trust, why would he be doing that? He set it up to where they try to hide things. Like Ed's money is untouchable. Where does he get his money from? I guarantee you his tax return says he makes less than 100 grand a year. Guaranteed. 100 Pack Club, yes. This is how you invest in this company. Buy my owner stock and set it up as a SEP IRA. I don't know enough about that. Oh, Candace, I think we did a YouTube video, I believe. Candace, is that you? So you're talking about that's how he got you to buy into the stock. Yeah, all this was said. This is a real company. This isn't a money game. This isn't a Ponzi scheme. Yet the California cease and desist shows that it's a Ponzi scheme. And why is the money flowing out to Mugen markets or IMGFX? And that's 100% what happened. The money was flowing out to those. I mean, I was showing that in the. And here's another thing. Why would the government make this stuff up? I mean, okay, you don't like the government, but why would they go after Ed Zimbardi? Why would there be hundreds of people saying that he stole their money? You know, it just doesn't. I mean, am I really making this up? Am I making why? What is my motivation to make this stuff up? What's the motivation for the government to make that up about Ed? So why wouldn't they go after people if it's money? The government wants his money. Why wouldn't they just tax him? The government wants people to be successful so they can tax them if it was a legitimate business. Wouldn't make sense. Okay, hey, Candace. Yeah, he was a master at hiding money, but he's also a master. I've seen multiple shell companies that Ed has set up in the past. So I know that he's a master at hiding money. He covers his tracks. He makes it so that the truth is complicated, it's complex. He decided to move over to Andes during the Atlanta conference. Then when people got, oh yeah, AMSYS. And when people got mad, he said they should have come to the conference and they would have had a vote. He decided to move. Yeah, so during the Atlanta event, what you're talking about, he moved. They were trying to move. They switched to AMSYS. They actually switched to AMS first. They called it AMS, and then add media spin, whatever, all that. And they did that because there was a cease and desist out. This is the tactics of what these people do. For example, GS Partners, another Ponzi scheme, they have a bunch of fraud warnings and cease and desist. So they keep changing their name. They keep moving the goalpost and changing their name so that new people, when they get recruited into it, if they Google it, if you go Google Ed's name, now he made fake stuff, but if you go Google CryptoProgram, stuff comes up. If you Google AMS, you're not going to find anything because it's an acronym. It's hard to find. So they switched those things. So GS Partners did that where they went to like GS Pro for just an example. Then they tried to set up something called like Billinico. But yeah, Ed made those articles about himself. Well, I guess I can't prove that he made them, but I would love to hear an explanation for why there are fake articles about someone named Ed Zimbardi being a philanthropist and a meteorologist and an expert investor. Like, there's no other Ed Zimbardi in the world, I'm sure. I mean, why would someone invest money to pay to put out a press release about that? So Ed's doing the same thing, and that's what he was doing whenever he switched to AMS and AMSYS, is to avoid new people finding the regulatory warnings. Why else would they change the name? I mean, there's no other reason to change it. If this was real and legitimate, they would just keep the name the same and just be making billions of dollars and then paying everybody billions of dollars. Cool. I mean, this is great. You guys have a lot of questions. Been asking some good questions. Is there anything else or anything you want to tell me? I mean, I'm not the expert here. He's not working to find the answer to global warming. Yeah. So one of those articles said that one of those fake articles put out about Ed was a press release said that he was working to find the answer to global warming. So that's only just to push down the negative stuff. Forbes business ad or pay also in a red flag. Yes. Yeah. These people do this a lot. Josh Berman, actually, I mentioned him a couple of times. He's threatened to sue me if I call him a Ponzi promoter, but what if I said that CryptoProgram is a Ponzi scheme, according to the California cease and desist, and Josh Berman promoted it? I don't know if that's the same thing or not, but that guy was paying for his own press releases. He said, he commented on a YouTube video and said that people wrote him up. And he said, I've been written up in Yahoo Finance. I looked it up. It was a paid press release by PR. I can't remember the name. PRS News. It's like Newswire, some PRS Newswire, something like that. And it's a paid for thing that you actually write yourself, and you write it and they distribute it for you. So he said he was written up, but he wrote himself up and then paid to have it distributed. I mean, this is what these guys do. The promoters, they're ruthless. They'll do anything to build authority. They do a lot of stuff to build authority. Oh, there's someone else called, what is it? This wasn't CryptoProgram, but just a good example. This was DeFi Synergy. It was a new scam that was coming out. It collapsed very quickly. Bob Bearden, I think, was behind it, but he was one of the people. And then there's someone named Dr. James Pruitt. And I found out that him and his wife have basically fake degrees. They call themselves a doctor, but they just paid for their degree at some like bogus university that's not recognized. That's what these people do. Like a lot of them, they'll use God and religion to recruit people a lot of times. Netherlands arrest info. Yes. Thank you. I will pull that up right now. Slides. Ed used God. Okay. See, I didn't know that. I think he said he was a man of God. I think he said something along those lines, but I didn't see how much he used it. All right. So you asked about Netherlands arrest info. Oh, yeah. Let me find. Yeah, give me a second. There's so many. There are like 40 slides here. Google Eds and Barty FD. Yeah, I think the issue with that, Funkel T there. I mean, yeah, you can do that. That'll give you some information, but you have to register your email to get in. Oh, the cruise on April 1st. I don't think it's on April 1st. I think it's like April 20th or 22nd. They think that I'm going on the cruise, which is interesting to me. So maybe I shouldn't confirm nor deny if I'm going, just to let them think about it for a while. No, I'll go ahead and say I'm not going on the cruise, but I may show up at one of their stops because I might be in the area of, one of their stops. I just want to ask some questions. I just want to be able to like show them the facts and say, like, what do you have to say for yourself? Because they refuse. I promise I'm getting the Netherlands info. I also asked a question at the beginning, like, what would it take to convince you that you've been scammed? Like, imagine, I mean, I'm assuming some of you guys know that you've been scammed or that Ed is a scammer. But what would it take for you to believe that it was actually a scam? I think that's like the best question to ask. Okay. Here is an email from Sonny Ma. So Sonny, I don't know if you're here. I think Sonny was considering showing up. I don't know if he did or not. Share screen. Share screen. Probably butchering Sonny's name also. So this is an email I sent to him on March 7th. This is like, what, a few weeks ago. Can you tell me how you know this? And I'm referring to Ed being arrested. I redacted some of this just because it's a conversation between two. I'm not going to put myself on the level of an investigative journalist, but that's kind of what I do, but I'm nowhere near his level. He's like a legitimate investigative journalist for FD.NL. And he said the part of the article you refer to is about what is said during the trial we attended. So I was asking him if he could like give me proof, because people want proof. So I'm like, can you give me the evidence? And what he gave me is that he knows this because he attended the trial. He said open discussion during court. And what this is referring to is that Ed is brought up as the presumed owner of Mugen Markets. So that's part of why he was arrested. And then that article, we can read that a little bit more. Let's find, yeah, here's that article. Yona, can you give me, sorry, can you give me some water, please? Thanks. Okay, so this is that article. In an interrogation with, thanks. An interrogation with Fjord investigators, that's like the police, basically, some sort of specialized police, I think, in the Netherlands. Main suspect Karina De Jong identified Edzzy as one of her contacts at the broker. Service and money laundering. So he was a marketer suspected by them of money laundering and offering illegal investment services. Was arrested in the Netherlands. Main suspect. So Edzzy worked with Karina De Jong. So they named this investigation. That's how big of a fraud case it is there. In the Netherlands, they named it. 56 million euros. It concerns Ed. Controversial. The justice arrested him in the Netherlands last week on suspicion of money laundering and illegal investment services. Yet people believe Ed when he says he was just questioned. It's like, why was he offline for those 9 or 10 days? There's no way someone took his phone. After interrogation, he was released. So, okay, he was questioned and released, yes, but how many days? He was also arrested. How many days was he in jail? They try to spin the truth. What they do is they'll give you a half truth and then spin it. The arrest is confirmed. Here we go. The arrest is confirmed to the FD by the financial supervisor of the American state of Georgia, which is also investigating Edzzy in collaboration with Dutch investigation services. The Public Prosecution Service is conducting an international investigation of Edzzy after his name surfaced in a criminal case. Yeah, this article is, I mean, no, most people haven't seen this article, and I've tried to spread it around, but it gets shut down pretty quickly. Ed worked with Karina as the main suspect. We covered that part. Probable founder. They said he was the probable founder. This is the part where Sonny was talking about. They had, so this fraud in the Netherlands. So I haven't investigated this enough, but they're accusing her of fraud in a Ponzi scheme. Must make a return of 3,000% to recover the money. Now, I mean, the money was spent, they said the money was spent on personal. I know people that live near Karina. I don't know if they're on this call or not. Probably are. They said that she spent millions and millions of dollars on things. Same as what Ed's doing whenever he's going out and, whenever he's going out and buying $400,000 worth of cars that probably aren't in his name. So De Jong previously identified Z as one of her contacts at the broker. The Public Prosecution Service gave De Jong permission to contact Ed Zimbardi in an attempt to recover money from investors. Attempts to approach him have yielded no results. So Ed just doesn't contact. He thinks it's all going to go away. Now, the FD shows that Ed Z regularly visits the Netherlands to give seminars on investments. The meeting took place this summer at this hotel. Z advertises investment products, social media training. All right, well, that's it. Stop share. Tax police. Okay, thanks. Wonder why he's going silent. Yeah, same. I'm sure he's working on getting those payments back online. Yes, exactly. So he's like spending time in jail for fraud related to other things or money laundering and to this brokerage that he sent the money to from CryptoProgram. Like all this money flows through Mugen Markets and IMGFX. It can't be any more obvious that he's involved. He's the puzzle piece between Scott Morris, the PAM accounts that he used to run, CryptoProgram. All of this funnels money to Mugen Markets and IMGFX, which is the same brokerage, just a different name. So what, I mean, how does anybody need any more evidence than that? He has a history with me. He wouldn't actually buy the car, but take pictures and post as if he did. Well, oh, wow. Well, these, I'm pretty sure that's pretty funny if he's acting like he bought cars. That sounds like something he would do. But I mean, he's making fake news stories up about how he's a meteorologist and saving the world and climate change and stuff. So I'm sure he would pose with fake cars. But I think he actually probably bought these under a business name, or I don't try to get into like family stuff on his side. I mean, I try to keep it a little less personal than that, but I saw a photo with his son took a photo with it too. So I think, he bought it through. He said he was the second one that he bought. Someone also tried to tell me that these cars were only $100,000. It was a Dodge Demon 170, which are more rare. And yes, if you buy one new, it's probably 100 to 140 if you bought it from the dealership, but there are so few of them that they're being sold for $200,000 and up, basically. All right. Anybody have anything else they want to share, or anybody wants to hop on and talk, or we can shut it down. Thank you. Yeah, happy to help. I'm definitely happy to help do this. Okay, great. All right. Well, it's getting late here. I'm gonna head out. Yeah, happy to help. More heat. Exactly. We're bringing the heat now. Everybody contact me if you guys want. We'll collaborate on things. Make sure you contact the SEC. All right. Take care, guys. Enjoy your evening. Ciao.